This time in Godzilla the Game Logic.
What other time have we done Godzilla game stuff?
That time when you shut your trap?
Sweet! There's literally nothing left for me to destroy. Oh man, I wonder who it could be. Oh crap. It's Biollante! Oh man, what am I gonna do? She's gigantic! You know what, on second thought, I really like this game. Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Report Reviews. My name is Steve, and today I'll be going over the SH MonsterArts Kou Kyou Kyoku Godzilla 1989. For the remainder of this review, I'm going to be calling this KKK Godzilla. Just giving you guys a heads up. It's just easier to give them these little acronyms instead of every time calling them. Now for Kou Kyou Kyoku, it's just gonna work out a little bit better. But if you guys didn't know what this is a upscaled version of the SH MonsterArts figures with Light and Sounds gimmick, which is why it has a totally new brand. And they decided for their first release, they're going to give us the 1989 Godzilla, which is from Godzilla vs. Biollante out of the Heisei series. Now, one of the main reasons I picked this up is I'm getting the X Plus Biollante in very soon. I think it's shipping sometime around March now. So in preparation for that, I decided to pick up this guy because the X Plus version is a little expensive, and I picked this guy up for about 140 bucks on Amazon. And per measurements from the film, the scale for this guy shouldn't be that far off. And from what I've seen of pictures with him standing next to the X Plus, doesn't look all that bad. So decided to pick it up as a little experiment. Hopefully it works out pretty well, or at least until I can pick up an X Plus 89, the 25 centimeter scale. Then also, this is probably the most requested thing for me to review on this channel, next to, I would say, the Shim when he was coming out, or my 1955 Marmot for reasons, which I gotta find something else to really review that guy with before I make a video. But anyways, I can't wait to get this guy out of his cardboard prison. So without further ado, for the packaging, very different than what we've seen with pretty much every other SH MonsterArts figure, where you cannot see the figure inside of the packaging, which overall looks fine because you can see an image of the figure with its light up gimmick going off, which, spoiler alert, isn't quite as impressive looking as what you see on here, but still sweet nonetheless. I love the overall metallic finish of the packaging with the Kou Kyou Kyoku SH MonsterArts Godzilla 1989, SH MonsterArts Kou Kyou Kyoku, man, that's a mouthful, has absolute sculpture and superior articulation for SH MonsterArts with superb light and sound gimmicks. Tamashii Nation Bandai on the bottom, SH MonsterArts 1989, came out 2016. Side of the packaging, you get a front profile of Godzilla with more of the KKK on the side. Other side just tells you about the light, sounds, music that it does, because yes, this also does play music, Godzilla 1989. Top of the packaging, I got it upside down, but you guys can get the gist of what's going on here. Kind of hard to read, especially with the lighting that I got going on. On the back here, just more of the same, but just some more dynamic poses of Godzilla. Tells you a little bit more about the gimmicks. God, I wish it looked like that. And on the bottom, some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So let's get this guy up out of his cardboard prison. Stop it. All right, now with that, we got him open up out of his cardboard prison. First, we're going to go over his gimmicks, because he comes with 0 accessories, so sadly, no beam effect. But you don't need it, because he has a light effect for his beam effect. But how you get this to activate is, for starters, you're going to have to slightly disassemble Godzilla here, which I thought would be a little bit more terrifying than it sounded. It's actually a little bit harder to get him back together than separated. Because what you're going to want to do is right here at the waist area, I'm going to shift his arms up just a little bit. And you can see he's already roaring. A very long roar and music. We'll get back to that. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to grab him right around the waist area, which usually I grab him right about here underneath his chest and somewhere back here anyways. And then you grab his lower section. Yeah, well, I'm going to pull straight upward because once I get it apart, it'll be a little easier to see. He has a giant sound card on the back here, which this is for his light up gimmick, which is very long, very solid. I do worry though that if you try to pull at it at an angle, you might snap this. So just be very careful when pulling it outwards to dismantle it. You're going to want to go straight out. And then when you're going to put it back in, which I'll show you, you're going to want to go straight back in. But underneath here, you'll see that there's an on and off switch, which you're going to have to insert batteries, which he takes 3 LR44 batteries. Then you just unscrew it, pop them in. And then the plus means that he is turned off. Circle means that he is turned on. So now we got him on. Now he's doing his little roar. So once you get him on, you're going to want to reattach him to his body. So make sure, you'll see right here is a little hole that you're going to want to be inserting the peg into. Which, the funny thing, peg's articulated, we're not going to use that ever. I kind of wish that they just would have made that one straight little thing. You guys will notice my little problem I'm going to have here in a second. But I wish that this little peg here was just a straight joint. I don't really see the point of it being articulated, but whatever. Then you're going to want to insert it back in. Make sure that the peg is lined up with the hole here. And then you line up his waist. Make sure he looks all nice and flush. And then you just push down. And you'll hear it click in. Now you know your Godzilla is ready and raring to go. So once we get Godzilla fully assembled, what you're going to want to do is right here is the button to activate him. So first we'll go over his music gimmick, which what you do is you hold down on the dorsal spine on the back here for his button. And what you'll get is the Godzilla title and the Godzilla vs. Tank theme. So we'll start with the first one. And also, it actually plays a lot of the song. Cool thing too, while this is going, you can actually get him the roar too while the music's going. You'll hear the stomping sound effect. If you hit it again. There's his roar while the music's playing. Super cool. Then you hold it down to stop it. Then we'll do the next song. I think this is the main reason I just love this thing so much right now. I love that it plays the theme songs out of this. That and it's long. I don't know how much battery life this is going to kill to keep it running, but oh, it's still cool. One thing I'm noticing though on mine is my button on this back is super temperamental. Like it's just like light touches. And I hope to God that he does his roaring effects. But for the sound, you get a long roar. That was a long roar again. It does them in random order, so it's not going to be in sequence like this music is. So you kind of just keep going through them until you hit something different. Oh, darn it, it was doing a light up effect. It's so hard to see. So there's another roar. Long roar. Or semi-short roar. And now it's doing the light up. And you kind of just go through in quick order until you find one you want. Like right now, I'm trying to find the stomping one we just heard. I'm trying to do it without the music on, but here you guys go. And just to show you guys the dorsal spine gimmick, I'm going to shut off the backlight, so I'll just leave my one light on just so you guys can see it. And we'll try to find it. There we go. So you'll see the spines illuminate. We're going to try to find the beam so you guys can see it coming out of his mouth. Alright, so the spines are illuminating. That's about how bright the beam effect is for this guy, which isn't very impressive. But the spines illuminate pretty nicely, though, I will say. I just wish the beam in the mouth was a little more impressive. So going over his closer details for his head sculpt is phenomenal. I cannot get over how good this face looks. Like, they did a very good job of replicating the look from the 1989 film and for the suit, because oh boy, I think this is probably my favorite Godzilla head sculpt in the line right now from what I'm seeing. I think they did a really good job sculpting the tiny dorsal spines on top of his head. Eyes look really good, maybe slightly shifted, but nothing really to complain about. The sculpt for the nose is fantastic. Love the little ears poking out of the sides. Teeth are painted very nicely, like his blood red tongue on the inside. Same with the teeth are in a very nice bone coloring. You can see the multiple segmented rows for them as well. Neck looks very good. A lot of segmenting there and a little bit of gapping, but nothing too crazy. Kind of stuff to be expected on an articulated figure. For the dorsal spines on the back of his head are painted very nicely in this very off-color whites, kind of very, very light gray color with the traditional charcoal on the center of the spines and then coming down the rest of his spines. I love that the semi-translucent spines that they use for the gimmick don't really stand out that much on this figure, because right here is where the dorsal spines start that don't illuminate. And then here's the ones that will light up. And then right here at the top section for the buttons is the more standard color. And you can't really notice. Like, these are slightly brighter, but nothing that really throws your eyes off too well. And then you can even see coming down the back of the tail, all the dorsal spines are very nicely painted all the way to the tip. First chest, very bulky, very nice looking. A little bit of a different style than what we saw with the 1984 Godzilla, which is a little bit more of a slim Godzilla. While this one is definitely a little bit more muscular in appearance. For the front section, though, it doesn't have the same kind of muscle balls that you saw in the 84 suit. Arms look good. I like the posing for them, even though there isn't really that much articulation. Also, that was weird, because I was moving his arms. It's like, I'm gonna make Rory sounds now. That button up there is very touchy on mine. But the arms are sculpted very nice. Very muscular, too, for them. With his very huge bicep. Hands are kind of just in a little bit more of like a relaxed, not quite clawing position, but just something you'd expect to see him just kind of flickering his fingers in and out while he's walking. So I love the appearance of his hands, look really good. Have more of that bone coloring for the nails here. For his waist, has a lot of very nice folds here, which the folds do help to hide a little bit of the gapping there. Looks good overall. Over here, it doesn't come out quite as far, but I kind of like the unevenness. Kind of helps to replicate the suit a little bit. For his thighs, very huge. You can see more of the muscle definition on his thigh. Knees look nice. Feet are sculpted very nicely with its 4 toes. Underneath, the paddings are also sculpted too, which is something on these figures that, again, doesn't really need to be there, but I appreciate that they do it. Then for his tail, all segmented, but it is a pretty long tail, which is really nice to see, especially for how freaking huge this guy is. And sculpted with more of his scaling on the side, with the soft underbelly detail on the undersection of his tail. For his coloring, Godzilla's overall a charcoal gray. No real extra detailing for the skin. It's all pretty much one solid color all the time. And then for his articulation, mouth can open up and down. Head can look about that far up, that far down. A little bit of a wiggle to it. It can rotate a little bit side to side, but nothing too crazy. That, when articulated them, the sound effects might go off. For his arms, can go a little bit forward, a little bit back. Problem is, though, is when I'm shifting mine around, it activates the button randomly on the back here, which is odd. I think it's mainly because, like, the plate's shifting here, so it wants to kind of mess around with this. So, on mine, I can't really articulate it too crazily without it going all over the place. But you can move it forward and back, in and out. Nice pivot at the elbow. Also has a pretty good bend here at the elbow as well. Hands can rotate all the way around. Have a little bit of wiggle to them. Also wiggle a little bit side to side. There's really no waist articulation. It had the joint in there like you've seen, but I don't recommend moving it forward and back. There's no side to side, so it looks like there's a joint here, but in all actuality, there isn't. For his legs, can go out about that far, inwards about that far. Has a little bit of a rotation here. Can go forward about that far, backwards about that far. Nice bend at the knee. Actually, a really nice bend at the knee. A little bit of rotation here as well. Can also swivel a little bit side to side at the foot. A little forward and back motion. And the tail is all on ball jointed sections. So you can go about that far to the left, that far to the right, about that far up, and can straighten up very nicely. So for this quick comparison, here we have the KKK Godzilla 1989 compared next to some other SH MonsterArts figures with Shin Godzilla and Burning Godzilla, the original version. Which you guys can see the overall scale difference between a standard Godzilla figure from the line, the Shin, which was just a really gigantic figure to say the least. He is easily the tallest Godzilla that we have gotten in the line. Now, I hear some people complaining that he doesn't scale with Biollante, which does suck, which, for the next comparison. Because here he is next to the SH MonsterArts Biollante, which you can see, he dwarfs. He's definitely the larger of the two here. Which, I don't think is horrible. Like, it's not the best thing ever. Because he should be about Burning Godzilla's size, and that would have been really good to work with Biollante. What I'm hoping is they do like a KKK version of Biollante, that would be awesome. But to be honest, them standing next to each other isn't really the worst thing ever. Like I said, I'm kind of hoping the X Plus one's going to be really cool next to that guy. And here's next to some other X Plus figures with the 25cm Burning Godzilla and the 30cm Godzilla 1984. And here's some NECA action figures with the Godzilla 1984 and 2001 GMK Godzilla. And here is next to the Godzilla 1989 plushie from Toynami, which this thing is still rubbish. So over with the Kou Kyou Kyoku Godzilla 1989, I actually really like this MonsterArts figure in the end. The lights and sound gimmick is pretty cool on the figure, but with mine, the button is super temperamental, so it doesn't really like doing what I want it to do all the time, which is very frustrating. Then the lights in the mouth aren't that impressive. The dorsal spines are pretty decent, but what I really love about this figure mainly is the sculpt. The sculpt on this figure is phenomenal and looks pretty darn close to the 1989 suit. The paint job on it is really nice, and I actually do like the larger scale of the figure. Granted, it doesn't really work with the Biollante figure, but in the end, I don't really think it needs to be. Hopefully they just release a standard version of the 1989. I could see that happening, especially if they decide to keep this line going, because they'll probably give us more stuff to go with these. At least I hope so, because it'd be kind of odd if this guy was just kind of like a one-shot, because they are doing the Tamashii mixes now too, so they are giving us quite a bit of variety with the MonsterArts line in the near future. But yeah, I'd recommend this to you guys. If you guys can find him somewhere in the range of about, I'd say $120, which is about what he was if you order him from Japan. On Amazon, for this recording, he can be purchased for about $130, which isn't that bad of a price either, because that's usually a free shipping. But if you can find him in that range, then definitely don't hesitate to purchase this King of the Monsters. But what do you guys think? If you guys picked up the KKK Godzilla 1989, what figures would you like to see come out of this line? Or is the standard version just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A closer picture of this guy on our website if you want to click the link in the description below. And the review would have been on there a day in advance. So if you guys want to be a little bit more up to date with what's going on the channel, definitely check out the website. We also have our Patreon account if you want to help support the channel. Also link in the description below. Especially if you guys have a certain request that you'd like us to do. Definitely go check that out. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.